Let us rewind to 2008 and dive into the movie that kick-started the entire Marvel Cinematic Universe, Iron Man. Our story begins with the man himself, Tony Stark. He's a genius, a billionaire, a playboy, and a philanthropist, living a life most people can only dream of. As the head of Stark Industries, the world's leading weapons manufacturer, he's at the top of his game. He's charismatic, a little arrogant, and completely brilliant. We first see him in Afghanistan, demonstrating his company's newest and most devastating weapon, the Jericho missile. He's celebrating the sale, cracking jokes, and enjoying a drink in a military convoy. But his world is about to be turned upside down. The convoy is ambushed by a terrorist group known as the Ten Rings. In the chaotic attack, one of Tony's own Stark Industries missiles explodes near him. Shrapnel lodges in his chest, inching dangerously close to his heart. He's captured and wakes up in a dark, damp cave. A fellow captive, a kind and brilliant scientist named Yinsen, has installed a car battery-powered electromagnet in Tony's chest to keep the shrapnel from reaching his heart. The terrorists, led by a man named Raza, have a demand for Tony: build them a Jericho missile. They give him all the parts and tools he needs, but Tony Stark is not a man who follows orders. Instead of building a weapon of mass destruction for his captors, Tony has a different idea. He and Yinsen work together in secret, pretending to build the missile. What they're actually creating is a miniature arc reactor, powerful, clean energy source, to replace the bulky car battery in his chest. This new device is not just a lifesaver, it's a game changer. Once his new heart is secure, they begin their real project, a weaponized suit of armor, a way to fight their way to freedom. This is the birth of the Mark I, a crude but powerful suit made from scrap metal and missile parts. It's bulky, clunky, and looks like a walking tank, but it's their only hope. As they prepare to escape, the terrorists become suspicious. Yinsen, knowing Tony needs more time to power up the suit, creates a diversion, sacrificing his own life to save Tony's. His final words urge Tony not to waste his life. Enraged and empowered, Tony unleashes the full force of the Mark I suit. He's a one-man army, blasting through the cave, deflecting bullets, and setting the terrorists' camp ablaze with his wrist-mounted flamethrower. He manages a clumsy but effective escape, eventually crashing in the desert where he's rescued by his best friend, Colonel James Rhodey Rhodes. Returning home is a profound shock to Tony's system. The experience in the cave has changed him. He sees the world differently now. During his escape, he discovered caches of his own Stark Industries weapons in the hands of the Ten Rings. The very tools he created to protect people were being used to terrorize and destroy. This horrifying realization hits him hard. He calls a press conference, and instead of the usual self-promoting speech, he stuns everyone: the press, the board members, and especially his business partner, Obadiah Stane, announcing that Stark Industries will immediately cease all weapons manufacturing. This decision sends shockwaves through the company and the stock market, but Tony is resolute. He has a new purpose. Back in his high-tech workshop, Tony dedicates himself to perfecting his suit. He's like a kid in a candy store, fueled by cheeseburgers and a drive to right his wrongs. He builds the Mark II, a sleek, silver suit designed for flight. We get to see his hilarious and often painful trial and error process, learning to control the thrusters and stabilizers. After a few crashes and a memorable icing problem at high altitude, he refines the design further. He creates the Mark III, made from a gold titanium alloy and painted in his now famous hot rod red and gold. This is the true Iron Man suit. While Tony is busy becoming a superhero, his loyal assistant, Pepper Potts, grows suspicious of Obadiah Stane. Stane has been trying to sideline Tony, claiming he's suffering from post-traumatic stress. Pepper, on Tony's instruction, hacks into Stane's computer and makes a horrifying discovery. It was Stane who orchestrated Tony's kidnapping. He secretly hired the 10 Rings to kill Tony so he could take full control of the company. When the terrorists failed, Stane went to Afghanistan himself, took the remains of the Mark I suit, and had his own team of scientists reverse engineer it. Stane's plan is to create his own, bigger, more powerful version of the Iron Man suit. He confronts the 10 Rings and, using a sonic device that paralyzes Raza, takes back the Mark I armor pieces. Back at Stark Industries, his scientists can't replicate Tony's miniature arc reactor, the one thing needed to power the suit. So, Stane goes directly to the source. He ambushes Tony at his home, using the same sonic device to paralyze him, and rips the arc reactor right out of his chest, leaving him to die. Stane now has the power source for his monstrous creation, the Ironmonger. Tony is saved just in time by Pepper, who managed to keep his original, less powerful arc reactor. He painfully installs it back into his chest, knowing it doesn't have enough power for a long fight. He suits up in the Mark III and flies off to confront Stane, who is now rampaging through the city in the massive Ironmonger armor. An epic battle ensues. Iron Man is faster and more agile, but the Ironmonger is bigger, stronger, and more heavily armed. The fight takes them high into the sky, where Tony uses his knowledge of the icing problem to his advantage, temporarily disabling Stane's suit. They crash back down to Stark Industries for the final showdown on the roof, right above the company's giant arc reactor. Tony, running on fumes, is outmatched. He tells Pepper to overload the main arc reactor, knowing the resulting energy surge will be massive. As the Ironmonger is about to deliver the final blow, Pepper unleashes the blast. The wave of energy fries the Ironmonger's systems and sends Stane plummeting into the reactor's core, ending his reign of terror. The next day, Tony has to deal with the aftermath. S.H.I.E.L.D. agent Phil Coulson provides him with a cover story, an alibi, to explain the events and keep his identity as Iron Man a secret. They want him to say his bodyguard was in the suit, but Tony Stark has never been one to follow the script. At yet another press conference, he looks out at the reporters, tosses aside the prepared notes, and with a confident smirk, delivers 4 of the most iconic words in movie history: "I am Iron Man." And just when you think it's over, a post-credits scene introduces us to Nick Fury, the director of S.H.I.E.L.D. He steps out of the shadows in Tony's Malibu home to talk to him about the Avenger initiative, teasing a much, much bigger universe to come. And that, right there, is how it all began. The story of how a self-absorbed weapons dealer became a selfless hero and launched a cinematic legacy. Thanks for watching this recap. If you enjoyed it, be sure to like this video and subscribe for more deep dives into your favorite movies. See you next time.